ASL Round of 32 Challenger League Group G. Right there. I saw Trigonal almost go for that intro. I was like, oh no, too many seconds have passed. Gotta seize it. But yes, we will see in the bottom left-hand corner, playing for Boreal Gaming, the Orange Protoss, TheTRUTH.
And his opponent is going to be Pink Zerg. In the top right-hand corner of Overgrowth, playing for Seed Gaming. It is Revolution.
I'm excited to see these two players play, especially two Grandmasters. It's a treat, even in Challenger League.
Yeah, I mean we've had our fair share of GMs going through this league. Actually, it's kind of been the norm rather than having one or two Masters and some Diamonds, as it was a bit more in last season. We've had quite a few really strong GMs coming in and putting their little play in, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, most definitely. We do see very, very standard out of each of these players. TheTRUTH actually, interestingly enough, going for a gateway expand and throwing down the 16 pollen on the low ground. So I'm really interested to see what he's going to actually do with this, because I think it's a very, very... I think that could be really powerful in this position. What do you think, Tyrannus?
I mean, it's proactive. It's proactive, right? He's coming down. He's going to kind of force it into the Zerg's hand. He's walling off. There's no doubt about it. He's going to make a wall for his natural, right? Obviously, and so he's kind of saying to Revolution, you've got to come stop it because I'm going to wall off and I'm going to be perfectly fine to take my natural and be okay. And Overgrowth is not the biggest map, and it's kind of Zerg favored towards the central. So I mean, it's kind of balls in Revolution's court at this point, in my opinion.
Most definitely, most definitely.
Yeah, so obviously TheTRUTH will get this. Now, I'm not 100% on board with the idea of putting a Cybernetics Core on the wall off, because if Revolution does decide to go for any kind of big roach pressure, and that Cybernetics Core is obviously really, really vulnerable. Not only that, but as we actually saw just a second ago, Revolution's Overlord is now moving out of range, but TheTRUTH's warp gate timing will be so scoutable at Revolution. It will not be at all difficult for him to just sneak in with Lings occasionally and see that it's not spinning, see how many chronos are going into it. And, I mean, Revolution did see that there was at least one chrono into warp gate, and a couple of Zealots moving across the map aren't actually going to be spotted, but he should have some kind of idea that aggression is on the way, but I'm not sure he'll know that it's going to be in the form of two fast Zealots.
Yeah, most definitely. A little bit in the later game, at least for Revolution, any pokes into the natural of TheTRUTH will show the gateway timing, or will show the Cybernetics Core, but also just it's a very precarious situation for TheTRUTH, because that Cyber Core can be sniped easily by a lot of roaches or something like that, which greatly inhibits TheTRUTH's defensive power. And Revolution does spot these two Zealots as trying to position a Queen in a little bit better position, but it really will not be there in time. It could move out, but right now, pumping out 10 Lings, really needs to make sure these Zealots don't take down this third, because this Queen really is not in the best position to defend it at the moment.
Yeah, and that Mothership Core is an additional threat as well. Not only can it recall the Zealots if they do get into a position where they'll get taken out, but a Queen just beats a Mothership Core one-on-one. In fact, I mean, even though we're not no kiting on the Queen's part, they actually both die at the same time. But with Zealots, it's a very, very uneven fight in favor.
Yo, do you guys see how slick that move is? To put the pylon right there and block it in, so the Zealots are getting as much surface area as they can on these Lings. That is such a slick old man move. Like, they're going to know it's coming on. I mean, he's going to lose the pylon, but at least he's going to get the most out of the Zealots. I think they got 6 or 7 Lings there, and then in the engagement.
Yeah, and if Revolution hadn't taken down that pylon at that stage, TheTRUTH then would have had a proxy pylon just precisely as his warp gate finished up a couple of seconds before his +1, and +1 is finished now, so he can begin warping in quite a few Zealots. Only off 2 gates though. I'm kind of surprised not to see usually about 3 in this kind of aggressive timing, but he's not committing too heavily to probably move in with like 4 to 6 Zealots, and they're going to shred through the Lings. +1 Zealots just annihilate Lings, man.
Yeah, most definitely. I was really expecting TheTRUTH to add on a few gates very quickly after that. It looks like it'll actually be going for the for the Twilight Council. But I was really expecting them to throw on a couple more gates and then go on for just more and more pressure, because you often see the Protoss, the original pressure may get pushed back, or they actually just teleport home, and then they come back with a team in bigger force. But in this case, we're not quite seeing that yet, and if he would have done that, it would have been a lot easier to take out that third, because it is at about half health. But so far, it does not look like we're going to see that. Going to the Twilight Council, getting the +1 armor, as we see right now. So interesting from the Truth kind of deciding to take a more economic position in this game right now.
Yeah, he has still got that. He has still have that aggression coming on though, and the Zealots coming in with their +1 attack as well are going to be extremely threatening towards the attack. They're getting the best position they can in the middle line and can slice them those way. I think they're just going to focus it down and then start trading up. No, he turns around and starts trading up against the Ling, because I don't think he thinks he can't get it, and I think that's probably the right call to make. He just kill every single Ling though, so a bunch of roaches pop, and they are going to clean this up. But still, 1-2 roaches go down, and 6 Zealots, I reckon they traded off pretty evenly. Resources lost tab actually is kind of in Revolution's favor. A little bit surprised to see that.
So I'm really glad that he made that attack, because as we've got a pause from Drenok. Nope. Okay, we're going through. So I'm really glad that we got to see that, because the Zealots made sure that the roaches pop. So now the Truth, I think, was waiting a little bit before he really made his tech move. Now, of course, we see Blink on the way, and he's about to finish up with his Robo, but he saw the roaches pop, and he didn't have any vision on the inside of his main or anything like that. So I'm pretty sure the Truth is going to be setting himself up, maybe with some Immortals, things like that. We'll see what pops out. You know, there's the Immortal to deal with the roaches, and so he's in a really good position, and +2 weapons already on the way as he starts to take off this Overlord in his main.
Yeah, he's going to have a really, really strong upgrade advantage on going into this game, because Revolution took his gas really quite late. Still only just finishing up the 2 gases at his natural and 1 at his third. And the +1 attacks just on its way from Revelation, only off a single Evo chamber as well. Means that the Truth is going to be doing so much more damage, especially given those Immortals scale incredibly well against roaches. The Truth actually has his +1 armor done as well, so with that Twilight Council, he's going to be really ahead in the upgrades game. The +1 armor for him kind of cancelling out the +1 attacks and +1 attacks for Protoss. Like, a lot of their units get 2 damage from that upgrade, so even if Revolution managed to get +1 defense out, it really wouldn't be like as good an answer to +1 or +2 after Protoss.
And I really like the roach speed coming out of Revolution right now. With great creep spread, he's going to have a lot of map control with these roaches. And I just like to say, my game alt-tabbed out because of Windows Update. When it came back, it happened to be right on the menu screen. And so I went to click resume, and that's why I hit pause. Just nothing actually happened. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with this roach speed right here, especially with great creep spread. Truth going out for a scout right now, and I like the Mothership Core position right now, just purely knowing that, okay, Hydras aren't going to be out yet, and the roaches will be out. I'll be able to spot them early on, and that'll be really useful, especially with the forward Palin just off of the third of the Truth right now. Very, very nice map control, or not map control, but at least map vision he's attained.
Yeah, I'm liking the look of this burrow upgrade that's coming out of Revolution as well. This could be really, really cool. Where's the Roach Warren? He does have Tunneling Claws queued up as well, and there it starts. So I think we're going to see a really sort of Hyun-esque style coming out of Revolution with just a single attack upgrade, trying to make use of Burrow and Roach Burrow move to hit in places where the Protoss isn't, and therefore, I mean, if you're not being attacked, then defensive upgrades aren't doing anything for you. So this is going to be a really, really cool game counter Revolution, I think.
Yeah, the nice thing with the Truth, at least, is he does have a cannon at his natural and then at his third, so if these roaches do go in the burrow and he's not quite ready with the Observer because he hasn't scouted that, he will have a little bit of a preemptive time to be able to defend that. Looks like it will be pushed off. Photon Overcharge actually being thrown down right here. Mothership Core saying, you can't touch me, I'm going to throw some rocks at you right now, which really won't even take anything out, but we will see a nice defense by the Truth. But still, with 3 Immortals, these roaches have to be very careful, but there's not quite that meat shield that you really want with a very heavy Robo Force like we see right here. There are some gates being added on for the Truth, but still, he has those Stalkers, but those Stalkers aren't going to be the best versus those roaches, and they really need a line of Zealots or some Sentries to be able to really defend these Immortals well, which will allow them to get in so much damage against the Roach army.
Revolution is going to have so many drones, going up to 83 drones. He's just going to be throwing waves and waves of roaches at his enemy until he kind of falls over. And this is some really strong economy coming out of our UK Zerg player. But he is going to have to hold off this little pressure out of the Truth. I don't think he'll have too much trouble doing it, because obviously the big strength generally of this kind of Immortal Sentry pressure we see coming out of the Truth, like, there's a couple of Link Stalks as well, but I mean the big strength of it is force fields. Force fields are so good on roaches because roaches have basically no range, or full range, and the force fields keep them back from those sentries and Colossus, but Burrow just bypasses that entirely, but actually the Truth just snipes the base and gets out. Very, very measured little bit of aggression coming out of him, I think is really nice.
Yeah, I really like that from the Truth, especially with having double observer right here. He will be prepared for any at least burrows going down. Some nice force field about this Colossus, and a little bit out of position right here. These roaches actually snipe the first Colossus, may get an immortal right here. It looks like they're burrowing forward, but there is an observer in a very nice position, which will be pulled, and also the cannon. One immortal actually will not be taken out. I was expecting that one of those immortals to be taken out, and they look like they're pushing back, but still, they're not a great position right here. The immortal will be taken out. The third goes down. Fourth will go down, and there's only stalkers left for the Truth.
And there's that Cybercore on the mothership in the Warlock going down as well. So no more sentries, no more stalkers out of the Truth, and that puts him in a really bad position against all these roaches from Revolution. Only Zealots are just not going to be enough to deal with this. Even the reinforcing Immortals coming out aren't going to do anything without the sentry support against this number of roaches. It's looking tough.
Most definitely Tyrannus. We do see all these mutas coming out of Revolution right here. Really, if somehow the Truth can push this back, how is he going to defend that? I don't even know if he can push it back. Yeah.
He's not going to push this back. This is game over. And you know what? There you go. Okay, welcome back. It's the second match of this PvZ series between these two Grandmasters, and we're going to go ahead and get right into these introductions. Spawning in the bottom of what I'm told is Vani Research Station is representing Team Boreal, The Truth.
Yeah, most definitely. Tyrannus a little bit fuzzy on map names, thinking it was Vaney or...
Varney?
Oh,
Varney?
You've been out of the loop for a little while, but bring it back now. You know what? You'll make a perfect layman to explain the map mechanics to. But either way, before we get into that, the other player, the Pink Zerg, spawning up in the top 12 o'clock position, is going to be the TT Seed Root Academy player. Pink Zerg, Revolution.
As usual, beautiful intros, Trigonal. Quite beautiful intros. We do see right off the bat, Revolution is scouting that second base without Truth putting down a gateway or a forge, which I feel like definitely it is a little bit easier on this map, but it's still a little bit scary for this. And I really like, on the opposite hand, Revolution taking his third instead of the natural base for his natural, which really allows him, it's kind of like he's got this bank in the back that he just has, okay, at some point I can take it, and it's kind of safe. It's a safe position to take when he wants to take his third.
Not only that, but it makes taking that third base as his natural is something we quite often see from Zergs on in-base natural maps, or maps with this sort of layout. Not so much Secret Spring, but Varney and Nimbus and Altazim back in the day.
Ooh, Altazim.
Because,
something
because
Tyrannus knows.
You get that. You start the creep spread towards your fourth a lot faster, and it's a weird kind of common theme throughout these maps that the fourth base is often quite difficult to take, especially for Zerg. If we look at this one, it's not so much that good. I mean, the fourth base is a little towards your opponent, but it's still nice to get that creep spread going as quickly as possible, and getting that third base up first allows you to start spreading it from that position, whereas getting your natural base up, it's not. Your natural base on these maps are completely useless as far as creep spread is concerned.
Yeah, most definitely. Really no reason to put creep down there, unless you're facing some pretty heavy drop style terrain where you just want to have the creep to be able to move really, really quickly, but that is not what we're facing. It will be the PvZ, as we were mentioning. And from the Truth, pretty standard so far. I'm curious whether he's going to try to put on that aggression again. Now, on a map like this, the third is definitely a lot more open, so that the Lings will... Overgrowth is not necessarily a closed-off third, but it's definitely a little bit more choked off than this, just being very, very wide. So I'm curious how he's going to put on the pressure if we see that pressure.
So one of the things that I like is that when Revolution scouted the early Nexus, there's commonly this theme among players that aren't yet GMs to kind of freak out and be like, okay, I need to exert early pressure to capitalize on it right now. But if you ever watch Flash, that great Terran play, a lot of times, if he sees an early natural throwdown, he'll go ahead and double up. He'll throw down a natural and then a super early third. And that's, it is more of a Zerg thing to do, but Revolution went back home, and before he even got a spawning pool, he went ahead and took his natural and his third. So I really like Revolution's doing that, because you know what, the Truth is, it's going to be a while till the Truth can really do anything. Revolution is going to have his map presence with his links and his overlords. He's going to be able to see anything coming, and you know, at this point, 3 hatcheries, the macroeconomic opportunities for you are just going to far outweigh any sort of 2-base Protoss pressure.
Yeah, most
absolutely.
definitely.
And that sets you up really well to punish it later on, because for the Truth, the tech is still going to be delayed by quite a long time. There will be knock-on effects from that Nexus first. Wow, double Stargate.
And it will be scouted just barely by Revolution. That sucks.
Yeah, so Revolution knows what's going on. And immediately the Spore's been thrown down. He should be ready for this. I'm thinking Void Rays are going to come out of this, because you don't go double Stargate and double Oracles. But I think, yeah... so Revolution, because of that strong 3-hatch open, I feel like it's a lot more... It scales a lot better, just because than a double early Nexus, because the 3 hatches give you 3 hatches of production, 3 hatches of production for drones, and 3 hatches of like bases and minerals to expand to. So there's, I think, a lot more versatility in that than just having the extra Nexuses.
Yeah, most definitely. And straight up, just as a Protoss, when you go for that early natural, you're definitely a little bit wary of any attacks coming in. So you're on the defensive a lot. You're trying to make sure, okay, I don't want any lane run-bys. So it's just a lot easier as a Terran player. Revolution can take those. Sorry, not as a Terran, as a Zerg player.
I was about to say.
We will see Void Ray Phoenix, interesting, coming out of the Truth. I'm wondering if he's going to pump out maybe 1, 2, 3 Phoenixes, go for the Overlords, and then just go into the Void Rays. Because we definitely, not at the moment, but kind of earlier back in... actually, maybe I want to say late Wings of Liberty, early Heart of the Swarm. You did see a lot of kind of Void Ray into heavy gateway pushes, which versus Zerg at least I think I saw a lot of. So maybe see something like that. But I really like getting out a couple Phoenixes just to hunt down Overlords. Always a good idea as Protoss if you're getting Stargate.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I want to add is you were discussing earlier about mutas on this map, just because the amount of open space there is to go ahead and target the natural and zoom around and get safely away from the cliffs and things like that. And I think the Truth, here's the thing, right? When you deal with those balls of mutas, it is so abso-friggin-lutely annoying. It is one of the worst things to come up against in this game, when you're like getting your macro good, you're getting your units, you're trying to get your unit composition, and then, oh my god, I forgot a turret line, or I didn't get my spores in, or, you know, cannons, or I didn't have my Phoenix numbers high enough. Whatever the problem is, there's a muta line absolutely ravaging your mineral line in your production, and it can just zip in, zip out, heal up, and come right back in. So the Truth is doing I think he's doing some preemptive stuff here. He doesn't want to deal with mutas at all, but it might, you know, not really work out great in his favor, because he's going to keep making Phoenixes. I don't know if he stops at 3. I think he keeps going.
I definitely think 3 will be a weird number to stop at. 4 would be the normal. He's actually going up to at least 7 out of it. So this is a pretty strong commitment to Phoenixes, and he can't fight this number of queens though. Like, if he lifts up one of the queens and starts focus firing it down, it'll just be transfused as the rest of the queens focus down the Phoenixes.
Yeah, really a smart idea, moving his queens together all in one group. Definitely a lot of defensive position, or a lot of defenses at least from the queens, but it'll be a much harder to defend the natural or the main. And it looks like, oh, actually one queen. Nope, we will see them regroup.
Nope.
Looks like he'll go for that queen, but yeah, cancels right there. Loses 1 Phoenix, and off the back of this, getting his 1/1 upgrade, getting charge. Now I really like this because you just went double Stargate. That's just so much gas, and especially on 3 base, at the 3 base completely saturated at about 10 minutes 40 seconds. Definitely he'll have a ton of mineral income to be able to get these zealots out, which will really complement whatever his force is right now, which it looks like he actually stopped all Stargate pressure, which I think is kind of strange for getting double Stargate, but he does have that opportunity. Maybe he was thinking mutas earlier on, so he will have that ability to pump out whatever he needs from the Stargates.
Yeah, but the Phoenixes have kind of gotten to such a number that they don't really care about the Spore Crawlers so much. They can just run in and kill a bunch of drones, although, yeah, the Hydras they care a little bit more about. But you know what this looks great for me, for Revolution, is Swarm Hosts. This looks like a fantastic Swarm Host setup. Vanity Research Station is a pretty decent map for Swarm Hosts anyway, with the possibility of Zerg taking that forward base that's sort of forwards and below of the main and third base. And taking that, setting up the Storm Host just before it, and you can deny the equivalent base, you can deny the middle gold base, and you can deny the base in the gold base in the lower right hand side. And the Protoss player has a bunch of Stargates. They don't have any Colossus tech. They don't really have any answer to the Storm Host. So I would not be at all surprised to see that come out of Revolution. He is the Stormhost style player.
Just
also,
why are you going to speak that evil into the world, Trigonal?
Tons and tons of queens are so good with the Stormhost style because they're a fantastic scaling late game unit. But right now, Revolution is actually trying to push in and do some damage before it gets to that stage.
Definitely. Right now, Revolution pushing in very nicely. Photon Overcharge is still down. These Hydralisks will target down that Archon. Archon down. Avoid Wayne and Immortal and a couple sentries left. Nether Immortal joining in. These really, right now, these Phoenixes just have to pick up anything they can to defend this. It looks like there will not be enough for second Photon Overcharge once this finishes, but right now there's tons of damage out. Actually, all the transfuses are currently gone, or maybe one or actually one has a lot of energy, but a little bit left. These Mortals may be able to push this back, but so much of the army is taken out, and really, if we see more reinforcements from Revolution, we can see it being pushed down. But right now, 22 roaches, but none on the way so far. So I'm a little bit worried for these queens because he really wants these queens to stay alive with this heavy roach push. But it looks like he will keep pushing through and be okay.
There's a lot of the two Immortals, the backbone of this defense so far. One of them is going to fall, the other's still alive with 6 kills a minute, but the Queens are going to have another round of transfuses pretty shortly. However, just on their own, they're not such a good fighting unit. It looks like this will be pushed back, but Revolution has a few more reinforcements coming in through from Drowse. But another Immortal comes in, and I think this is being held by the Truth.
Same time on the right-hand side of the map, the Truth preparing for any offensive action he can. Now, it was spotted by one Overlord, but he does have those 2 pylons, so once he has stabilized, and it looks like he really didn't lose any workers from that battle, actually. So far, none lost. And he will be able to stabilize, get some Immortals out, get some Archons, and he'll have a great reinforcement point. Looks like Revolution knows that and is going for those pylons.
That battle though wasn't about the workers in the end. Like, yeah, he lost a lot of queens. You know, he lost, but the gas investment that the Protoss player just expended to just defend the third, I think it really opens up the Zerg at this point in time to pretty much do whatever he wants. Like, the Truth is not in any position to move out for probably the next 2 to 3 minutes, in my opinion. He is getting Storm, Blink, like all the great Protoss upgrades, but you know, that needs to culminate. It needs to be like a synergistic attack, you know what I mean? It all needs to come together. And if he like pushes out right now, if this army gets caught out here, it's going to be absolutely shredded. The Hydralisks go to work on Immortals, and so he needs to be together. And unfortunately, he needs, you know, I mean, this army is going to be able to do some work, but he needs to be in a better position. No Photon Overcharge. The Mothership Core is taken out before any engagement goes down. That's going to be a lack. A little bit of a defense right there, so...
Yeah, at the same time, no sentries at all to be able to force field these out, or actually technically 2, but only 2 force fields. Only these roaches left, getting an extremely nice concave. Hydra's 2, and this may actually take down these Immortals, which even if somehow this is pushed back, those Immortals are so much of the economy has been put in to produce them. All Immortals going down, some Zealots trying to be warped in. Charge is done, so they will be able to do something there, but no Photon Overcharge, no sentries, none of those key Protoss units that allow you to win those battles where it just looks like all odds are against you. And still right now getting out the Mothership Core, still all the upgrades on the way, but I feel like he went into all the upgrades at the same time that he really needed, as you were saying, to culminate eventually. He does, yeah, I mean, having them all at the same time is very nice, but you're not going to get them all at the same time early on. It just puts you so far gas-wise back, but it does look like right now, for the Truth, floating at, or not floating, but 300, so he can have a little bit of decision of what he makes here.
Yeah, the Vipers coming in as well are going to be able to pick off those units so easily. GG, and Revolution smashes through to the winners match.
2-0.
In that group.
Damn.
2.